Asyatya Anisthari. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are looking at the 14th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. So we'd like to seek the blessings and good wishes of the devotees so that we can enter into the nectar of the Bhagavad Gita, and specifically the 14th chapter. And I'd like to welcome all the devotees. Thank you very much for joining us today. 14th chapter started with Krishna explaining what the three modes of material nature are. In the Gita, roughly, there's 700 verses, and roughly about 100 of those verses just talk about the modes of material nature. So it's pretty important, especially in this 14th chapter, but also in the 17th and 18th chapter, Krishna describes a person's behavior according to the three modes of material nature. So it's a very important subject matter for us living in this world, in the material world, because it only impacts those who live in the material world, not in the spiritual world. And previously also, Lord Krishna has given instances of material nature's power and the power of the internal energy as well. Like he says in the 7th chapter, 14th verse, Devi Esha Manomai, Devi Esha Gunamai, that this energy of his, the material nature, is divine. But one who takes shelter of him, that person can overcome this material nature. So many times he mentions it in the Gita, but now he's really defining what these three modes are and how they work, and really guiding us to come to the platform at least of the mode of goodness. Although even that may not be good enough. There's an example of Srila Prabhupada one time was was traveling somewhere for a program, and there was a lot of traffic, and because there were some road works going on. So when they came to the roadworks, there was a sign saying, roadworks, temporary inconvenience, permanent improvements. And Srila Prabhupada remarked to the devotees, material world, temporary improvements, permanent inconvenience. So whether we are in the mode of, one of the three modes, whether we're even in the mode of goodness, we're still in this material world. Another description given of that is whether one has iron chains, cufflings, or not cufflings, shackles. Yeah, thank you. Silver shackles or gold shackles. They're still shackles. So we want to try to move on to the highest platform. So he explains what the three modes are, how they work, and then we covered those two themes. And then the third is the attributes of one in each of these modes. So we can read the theme, the verses in that theme, and then we've got a bit of an exercise for everybody. And if you have a piece of paper and a pen handy, that will be useful because we just want to assess where we are individually. Of course, this is for you to retain yourself. You don't have to make it public knowledge. But it just gives an indication of where are we predominantly, which mode are we sitting in predominantly. Okay, so who'd like to read the theme? Oh yeah, Priti, would you like to read?
Sure, Prabhu. Text 14. When one tells, is there an echo?
It's not too bad, a little bit.
Okay, hold on.
Well, let me mute myself.
Any difference? Sorry, any difference?
We can't hear you, Pretty.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's okay now.
There's no echo?
No, it's okay.
It's fine.
Okay.
It's fine.
Okay, text 14. When one dies in the mode of goodness, he attains to the pure higher planets of the great sages. Text 15. When one dies in the mode of passion, he takes birth among those engaged in fruitive activities. And when one dies in the mode of ignorance, he takes birth in the animal kingdom. Text 16. The result of pious action is pure and is said to be in the mode of goodness. But action done in the mode of passion results in misery, and action performed in the mode of ignorance results in foolishness. Text 17. From the mode of goodness, real knowledge develops. From the mode of passion, greed develops. And from the mode of ignorance develop foolishness, madness, and illusion. Text 18. Those situated in the mode of goodness gradually go upward to the higher planets. Those in the mode of passion live on the earthly planets, and those in the abominable mode of ignorance go down to the hellish worlds.
Thank you, Vitti, for that. That was good. So 5 verses basically describing the position of one who is in the mode of goodness, passion, ignorance. And the summary of this is reincarnation is the process by which a soul receives a new material body on the following basis of activities performed in the present body. So our activities are a result of the decisions we make. Our decisions are ultimately based on the modes which we are being influenced by, especially if we are conditioned by these 3 modes. Thus, Krishna predicts the future destination of an individual based on the predominant mode in their life. And in summary, those who are in goodness, they go to the heavenly planets and enjoy there for some time whilst their good karma is still there. And once the good karma is exhausted, they come back down to earth. Those in passion, they live on this earthly planet because they have a passion to fulfill their desires. So the Lord allows them to continue to fulfill their desires in this world, on earth. Those in ignorance, because their activities are not good, go down to the hellish worlds and suffer there for some time, and then come back again onto earth and continue with fulfilling their desires. So the lesson we want to take from this is, which mode are we in? So we've got a bit of a sort of a survey, and we want you to work out where everybody is for yourselves. And the idea is for whichever mode we are to go up to the next level. So nobody's going to be in ignorance, but some of us will be in passion. So the idea is to rise at least to the mode of goodness. And it can be a step-by-step process. And if one is in the mode of goodness, which I suspect many of you are, then the idea is to transcend even the mode of goodness. Okay, so now we've got, I can't remember how many items there are. Let's just have a quick look. We've got a few items, 15 different items to go through. And there's 4 categories: ignorance, the worst; passion, goodness, and pure goodness. That's the spiritual mode, effectively. And I was wondering if devotees would score yourselves. If one is, say, let's take an example, the understanding. If one considers irreligion to be religion and religion to be irreligion, strives always in the wrong direction. So say an example of that would be maybe these terrorists who think that by killing innocent people, they will attain heaven, yeah, and enjoy with celestial girls, ladies. So that would be classified as irreligion to be religion, and religion to be irreligion. So that would be putting somebody on this in this category here, ignorance. And the score for that would be 4. 3, 2, 1, 0. 3. And if one falls in the category of passion, so for understanding, it would be misguided, perverse, imperfect, cannot distinguish between religion and irreligion, truth and untruth, what should be done, what should not be done. Then that would be number 2, sorry, 2 points. If one is intelligently discriminating under scriptural directions between what should be done, what should not be done, what is to be feared, what is not to be feared, what is liberating, what is binding, i.e. a God-fearing person, basically, perhaps even a God-loving person. That would be 1. And the pure goodness always perfectly considers Krishna or Rama or Vishnu, one of the Vishnu Tattva, through personal realization, confirmed by scripture and the spiritual master. That would be a 0. So you're not going to be in this world. So that's why it's 0. So I hope that's quite understandable. We can start from the beginning and go through all those 15, and you can score yourself. Where do you sit? So if you need a pen and paper, please do get a pen and paper, and you can score yourselves. And the idea is, well, we'll come to that at the end, what the score is. Is that okay? Devotees want to do this?
Yeah, Nabi, I'm quite Haribol, first of all.
Yes,
Yeah,
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj. And yeah, I mean, to choose a category and then, well, shouldn't it have been in a questionnaire form so people just tick a box or something, or?
Well, we do it in different ways, but I was just thinking,
yeah, for now.
It's hard in terms of, well, it's like a questionnaire.
Right?
And we can just basically go through it quite quickly. And it doesn't have to be completely exact. You know, you're not going to be in one box all the time anyway. But where are you generally is the idea. And of course, something like this, it's not so easy to have it as a one word or a quick sentence thing, because it's, you know, you're trying to categorize your behavior in different circumstances and many different circumstances.
Yeah, because it to be like, you know, if I pick the first book, ignorance, I think, well, am I really there? Then,
then you don't pick it. Then you pick which one you think you are in. That's the point. You only pick one box per section. So let's take an example of characteristics and manifestations. One in delusion, darkness, madness, inertia. Even asking that question means you're not. Or is one in intense endeavor, wanting always, you know, so many things, so many wants, longings, great attachment, fruitive activities? Or is one in some sort of knowledge, the gates of the body filled with knowledge, where we're free from sinful reactions? Or is one completely unmotivated, unfailing devotion to the Supreme Personality of Godhead? And the thing is also, this is a private exercise, really.
Yeah.
One to consider where you are yourself. Not that anybody can judge, nor do you need to reveal. You know, if one is in 3 for that, nobody has to reveal that. But at least for your sake, for our sake, we sort of, okay, this is where I'm at, and this is where I need to be at.
Yeah, okay, as long as everybody understands what they...
Yeah, well, let's see what they think. Do you think, is this a good idea?
Prabhuji, I think it's really good. I mean, I'm somewhere where there's a bit of everything. Sometimes I'm on a borderline between ignorance and passion. I'll give myself a 2.5. and like somewhere I'll be on 3, 2, 1, and then I'll just average it out. Something. I think it's really cool. And it's like if somebody wants to make their own table of like category score, then they can see like after a month where they can push themselves up to another stuff again, go back to it and be like, okay, am I still there? If I want to get there, what am I not doing right? And they can ask you or a senior devotee or a sannyasi, what can I do? Like how can I move on up? I seem to be stuck at this number, you know, or this mode in this category. So.
Let's try. I like the suggestion. I like the suggestion.
Like for example, if I take number 4, I don't think I've ever worshipped ghosts and spirits. Actors, I've kind of got out of it, you know, imitation God. I used to fall for maybe in the past, but somehow, and then the demigods, I did have impersonal conceptions before. Then because of the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj and other reading texts, and over the years, certainly that impersonal conception has kind of gone. I don't think that, you know, I'm in the pure goodness, say, a supreme personality of God. I know it's Krishna, and I haven't realized in the full extent and all
That's
that.
okay. That's okay. Don't have to realize
like
it.
that, isn't it? So
no, but that one, but you don't have to realize it. It's just who is your worshipable deity. So that one would be for you. Definitely would be a 0 because you don't worship anybody else. But whether we've realized or not, I think that's a separate question.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, once you've decided to fall for Krishna, you're not going to fall for anybody else.
Yeah.
So you need
good. That's a good example, Madhusudan. Thank you. That's a nice one.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay.
Vani?
Hello, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So even I'm also comes under mostly like, you know, 2 and 3.
Right.
Some aspects 3, some aspects 2. So in the characteristics, yes, definitely we'll expect some fruitive activities. So that's what, as being in a grihasti. Yes, and attachment, great attachment towards like, you know, what we are doing and why this is happening, you know, about, you know, regretting about the past life when we face some struggles.
Right.
Obviously expecting some, you know, why can't this change all of a sudden? Why can't it change? You know, how can we come over the difficulties?
Yes.
And attachment towards to the family and relationship. It's all, I think, yeah. In characteristics, yes, these 2 mainly, fruitive activities and great attachment. And yes, in the goodness, yeah, sometimes if we think like, you know, oh, I might have done this, you know, that regret feeling, and how we can correct, how we can, you know, try to avoid those sins. Sometimes if we you know, without any intention, sometimes we use words that make others feel sad or anything, you know, sometimes that make us feel guilty. Oh, I think I shouldn't have done that, although I didn't mean it, you know, those kind of different things, like, you know, some sinful reactions, like, you know, how we can always think, you know, how we can avoid those things. So that's some of the category that's there, Prabhuji. So yeah, I'm just going through the other ones slowly now.
Yeah, no, we'll do it together. So and we can do it. It'll take a little time, but I think it's worth spending the time. And as you said, even if one is in 2 and sometimes in 3, if mainly in 2, like I like Priti's thing of doing 2.5 or maybe 2.6.
Yeah, 2.5 or 6. Yes. Yeah.
Maybe we'll have a algebra calculation at some point.
Yes.
Parties when we need it. But it's fine. Wherever you are, that's where you are. Nobody is Yeah, nobody's going to judge, or nobody's going to say, hey, you need to move into the next stage. That's up to you to decide. But
Yeah.
I think this process will perhaps give a little idea of, okay, I am here. And perhaps my attachment to my children is good. I mean, I'm very attached to my children. That's not necessarily a bad thing. If you're not attached to your children, that means you can almost be neglecting them if you're not attached. But if you're attached to them in the view that I am looking after these souls who Krishna has given me in order to improve, like Satvika, to ensure that Satvika slowly becomes appreciative of the Supreme Lord and begins to realize that this world is a temporary place. That attachment is not a bad attachment, because you are trying to bring your children up in a God-conscious way. You see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I understood, Prabhuji. Thank you. Yes.
Okay.
That's what we are trying. Yeah.
Yes,
Thank you.
Daniben.
Yes, Prabhuji. I'm stuck with number 3, that with the food aspect, because you do prepare food, but then you don't sort of eat the remnants of the meat of a full meal of a saintly person or a spiritual master. You don't do that. But
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Prashad. When you offer that prashad
yes.
to the Lord, that is remnants of God.
Okay, so that's equivalent. Oh, I thought you meant remnants on a dish when you offer to some spiritual leader who has come to you.
As well. But if that is not available, because at the moment, for example, nobody comes to our homes,
Yes.
and there can be no remnants, but the prashad of the Lord, that is sufficient.
Yeah,
You're
and
definitely a zero there.
yeah, partly zero, but in the goodness, you need food for increasing your strength, health, happiness. But at the same time, you don't eat sweet juices, fattening milk products, not too many, not sweet. Because normally milk products are sweet, and we tend to go away from that. Sugar, we don't eat much. So
It's not that raw sugar. It's not the white sugar that is talking about. It's more the natural sugars that are prepared. That are
fruits, in the fruits and vegetables. Okay.
Yeah. I think white sugar is probably classified as ignorance anyway.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
no, good. So let's do it one by one. So first one, I think we've sort of covered. Number 2, charity. Do we give at a wrong time, wrong place to an unworthy person? If somebody's standing in front of a liquor shop license and they ask for money, if we give them money, then if we're inclined to give them money, then that's not a good place to be. Or do we give something and I want my name to be recognized? That's passion. If we give something to the right person, right time, right place, that's goodness. And if we give something predominantly give for spiritual purposes, then that's pure goodness, 0. Okay. Food, like 3rd category.
Priti, you have a question?
Yeah, actually, it was just coming down to charity or food. It could be mixed between both. I heard from a sannyasi, like if there are homeless that come towards you and they want money, if you have prasad on you, like let's say a few oranges or banana that's already served, then you can give that, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't have that on me, and I will just give them some food and just say like Hare Krishna to them at the same time, like a fruit or something. But then I've also been told by somebody, why should you give them something that they don't want? Like they actually want money, right? That's what they're asking for. But obviously, if you say, would you like this, and they take it, that's fine, isn't it? You're not insulting them, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, if they go away with a grudge, that's on them, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
They won't generally. I mean, I've always found, I don't think I've had a situation where, I've offered them fruit that they've always taken. And if they don't take, there's something.
That means that they want the money to buy things that are not really good, like cigarettes or alcohol.
Yeah.
That's mainly why they're asking for money.
Yeah. And generally, these persons are very, very humble and meek.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, their circumstances is really, really bad. And hey, that's why we feel, wait, I want to at least do something.
Yeah, this is Navi, it's a kind of tricky one because we've all fallen into that trap of feeling sorry for someone and giving it and all that. And once I was on Parikrama Marg, and then I was going on a Govardhan Hill.
Right.
And some girls came around and they say, oh, you know, you put tilak something and they want to give money, and you end up giving some money. And I was told by I was with a senior devotee going along with me, and he said, no, don't give them any money. He said, these people have plenty of money, but they go and buy liquor and all that.
Yeah.
And then that, you're bound in their karma. You don't do that.
Yeah.
Just leave them. If you want to, just buy some bananas and give them to them. And they didn't want the bananas. Those girls just say, no, we don't want your bananas. I said, okay, well, what am I going to do? I will just chant Hare Krishna, and then I'll just keep going around my parikrama, So, and then I have an individual near my house, and outside a co-op store. And once I was trying to say, I felt sorry for him, cold. So I thought I'll let him buy him a hot chocolate. I didn't want to buy him coffee. So I went in the shop and I asked the woman, I said, can you give a chocolate for him? He said, don't give him anything. He is not really poor. He's very loaded. And he's got a flat, and he's got a habit of just sitting out there. And he gets good enough money in a day,
Yeah, that's true.
So you just don't know, you fall into this trap. And you're not there to judge anyone or anything, but sorry. But if you are able to at least just encourage them to chant. Once I said, oh, shall I buy you a meal? And I bought them a sandwich and all that. He said, no, I don't want any food. I want bed, I said, how am I going to, I said, there's so many people in different desperate situations. So charity is a very tricky one. So you want to be charitable and helpful, but we just don't know where we can be. But then, once you start to understand the Krishna conscious philosophy, and you start to understand Bhagavad Gita, then Prabhupada explains, you're trying to water a tree by watering each and every leaf, and you neglect the root, and then eventually the whole tree dies anyway. So it's better that, the root you have to water the root, and the root is, the Krishna is the provider of everything. So once we start to please Krishna,
we come to that. Yeah,
charity is quite a tricky one.
Yeah, but anyway, this is just to give an idea.
I think most people will try and give at least 2, 1.5, 2. Yeah. And if you're good enough, you give yourself 0. I think.
I have a question.
Yes,
it's really personal. So I have registered to shave my head for Macmillan Cancer Research. So would that be offensive to do that? Would it come into goodness, passion, or pure goodness? I don't want anything in return. It's just that we have.
You don't want anything in return. You're just doing this out of awareness. You want to make people aware.
Yeah, for cancer, because we have 5 people in my family.
Yeah. Oh, really? Wow.
Including myself. So it's just come up, and I'm thinking in my heart, I was thinking about it. Every time I switch TV on, that ad is on. I don't know if it's Krishna's way of saying that, yeah, go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
I don't know, it just comes on. Every time I switch TV on, that ad comes on. So
yeah. It's definitely not ignorance. It's not passion. As you said, you don't want anything in return.
Not anything in return.
And you're not doing it in a grudging mood. They're not shaving your head forcefully.
No.
No expectation of material returns. Goodness.
Yeah, just for goodness. Yeah. So
only thing is,
yes.
Generally, when we talk about charity, it's where you're giving something of value. Now, how valuable is your hair? Oh, only joking.
Yeah. Right.
Generally, that's what charity means. So I don't think it falls completely into goodness, but it's probably a 1.5.
All
something
right.
like that. Yeah.
So if
It is up at 1.5.
if it's valuable.
Interesting. Thank you for sharing, Arunaben. And I know that's personal to you. So
Yeah, I just wanted to know. I was going to do a private call, but that came up, so I thought quickly ask you. Sorry.
no,
to take the
it's
time.
good. Thank you. Thank you for asking. And Mother Sundaram, thank you for sharing your point about charity. We're going to cover that again in chapter 17. Krishna talks about that in some detail. But let's move on to food. Again, food is also going to be covered. Oh, Priti,
Yeah. So I have a question following that, what the Mataji said before. You said 1.5, because I would think something like that would be in 1, unless if you think there's if there's any pride attached to it. Would that mean that's where it might come in?
I think it's more you giving something to a worthy person, but if you need to give something of some value. I know the hair may be of value to you, but it's not going to be value to anybody else. So if, say, instead of hair, you give, I don't know, some money perhaps, to the right person, right place, no expectation of return, that would be a straight 1.
So then, is that like hair? We're thinking about hair is something like vanity, and by giving them the stuff, they identify with the body.
Maybe, but hair, I would say, to you it's got value, and actually to give up hair, it's actually, I would say it's more on a sacrifice level rather than a charity level. You're making a sacrifice. It's a big sacrifice. I know I shave every other day. I don't have much to shave, so it's not a big sacrifice. But I'm not sure if it fits into 1. I would say.
Okay. All right. Interesting, Nana.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I like it. And hopefully more will come out. So we can, it's good to just understand different scenarios. Naniben?
Yes, I think if hair is, as you say, it's value, you value it more than anybody else values it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And second thing is that if you are giving it, if I donated my hair to society or for good cause, then there may be a little bit of a pride in that as well. So that should not come in any charity or donation. And the other thing is that in the past we have, now coming about giving money for charity, in the past we have given money, but we don't do it anymore at all now. Sometimes we buy food for when we are eating in a restaurant, especially in India, then we buy them food for other people.
Right.
So I think that's what Madhusudan Prabhuji was saying. So I would agree to that. Giving up hair, your own pride you are giving up. So maybe something there.
But giving hair, especially for a Mataji ladies, for gents, is probably a little bit easier.
Definitely less important.
For Arunaben, I can imagine the sacrifice, and it's. I think when we come to sacrifice, let's see how it fits in there.
Okay.
Thank you. So foods, if one is used to eating, if non-vegetarian diet and old food, left overnight, that sort of food, that's ignorance. One who's into too much tasty has to be, and it actually causes distress in the morning when you are trying to get rid of the waste. That's not good. That's passion. And goodness is, as we discussed already, increases longevity and gives strength. But the best, of course, is prasad. And as long as we cook the food in a pure way, offer it to the Lord, that becomes prasad. And that is a zero, pure goodness.
Something else, Prabhuji?
That, not less.
Sorry?
Something else, Prabhuji? I've heard about people who say, whatever they prepare in the house, they give to Krishna, whether it contains onion or garlic or not. But it's not something that should be done, isn't it?
No, ideally not. I agree. It shouldn't be there. But Ananiben, my view is, if somebody is cooking with onion and garlic, because somebody asked me that question the other day. I cook with onion and garlic. I know it's not right. Can I not offer it? I said, you can offer it by all means, but Krishna may not accept that offering because of onion and garlic.
Yeah.
So your mood perhaps can be, I'm actually eating an ingali at the moment, my dear Lord. I really apologize. Please give me the strength so I can stop that and cook for you in the mode of pure goodness so that you will accept my food. So I think, and the result of that has been that they have decided that they will try to reduce the NND. So that person will hopefully stop cooking with that. But I think, to be honest, you can always offer it. Nothing to stop you from offering it. But the Lord may not accept that offering because of that.
I read somewhere that you don't offer, no, you offer to Krishna what he wants, what he asks for, not what you want to give it to him.
Yeah. And that comes into category of pure goodness, but actually, even within pure goodness, there's different categories. So I like to eat pizza, say, I'll make pizza, I'll offer it to Krishna, and I'll enjoy it. Yes, that's prasad because you're offering it to Krishna. Yeah. But the mood isn't top quality. The mood is still, I am the enjoyer, although it's prasad. But as you said, let's see what Krishna wants to eat. Let's make that for his pleasure, and then we'll honor that. We will eat that prasad. And it's very easy when our spiritual master was here, because he would say, because he would eat according to the scriptural injunctions, certain color, certain day. So he would tell us, this is what I would like. That is perfect, because we don't have to think. We cook, we offer it to Krishna, we offer it to spiritual master, and then we take the remnants. Perfection. So there are different grades of 0 as well, but at the moment we just stick to this one thing, that we just offer whatever we can.
That's a tricky one as well, Navi, because we cook it for ourselves and then we obviously offer it to Krishna, and that becomes prasad. That's nice, and sometimes we've done it out of our own choice, but when we start to think about Krishna more and more, then somehow Krishna inspires.
Yeah. I
can relate, if you don't mind, I can just tell you one experience I had.
No, for it, please. Yeah.
When I used to serve at the temple here, the deities, and we would, in the morning, we would know what to cook or anything, but we had to offer some bhoga in the morning. And we're not doing it for ourselves because, we're not going to eat that sort of food early in the morning. And I had to go to work and all that. But when the deities were installed, somehow at one time, I have never tasted this food. I've never thought of making it. I was never a brilliant cook or anything. I've just learned bit by bit when I said, I've got to offer something to the deities here today. So what shall I offer? What is there, So you just have to come up with something. So there was this particular item that I started cooking, which I had never tasted before, never somehow, and it was a broccoli in some cream in a certain way. And I thought, well, I've never tasted this. I've never had this broccoli and cream roll before. But why am I inspired to make this particular item and then offer it to the deities? So I offered it, and after the offering, a lot of the devotees at the temple started to really like it. They said, "This is an amazing dish. Who's made this?" And they'll say, "Oh, the Madhusudan made it." They said, "Oh, how did you make it?" I said, "I don't know. I'd never read a recipe of it or anything like that. You can ask my Dharmapati. She has never tasted it. I've never made it. She's never made it. Somehow I got inspired to make it. And then the deities wanted, maybe it was Krishna telling from within my heart, just cook it this way, that way. And then it ended up being some kind of a broccoli cream kind of dish. And a lot of devotees try to copy it and make it. They say, we'll make it as well. But it never came out the way that I used to make it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just that I'm proud of it, but do you know what? I have never made it since.
Thank you for sharing that. Nice one.
It was just only at those times when the dates were there and they were just inspired to make it.
Very
And
good.
I've never made it since. I don't have a desire to make it. But, and if I made it, it probably wouldn't be the same.
So there you go, Nani Ben. That's the answer. And
sometimes when what I'm trying to say is sometimes if we don't think, we just think of Krishna, and maybe he might inspire to say, you know, try this recipe or something, or you end up making something out of the blue, you know.
Now, that's good. I often say to Jayanti, she made chakli the other day, and it came out really nice. And I say to her, beginner's luck.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but I like your pastime actually. That's a very good pastime to share with devotees.
I usually at Janmashtami, what I usually do is that, you know, you want to make as many items for the Lordship, and I usually have like a menu, you know, planned, and I get ingredients like that. And then sometimes on the day, you know, what you plan doesn't work out, but you make something else because that's what the Lord has desired. You had a plan, but you know it doesn't work like that sometimes. But the Lord has a plan, and you know you end up making something else. So I've had lots of experiences at Janmashtami like that.
And I'm sure Kamakshi must have also. Kamakshi Maaji must have lots of experiences like that.
Yeah, you know, she, like you ladies know how to please their family, and they're doing, sometimes they're cooking for the whole family, and they're not really motivated by their own selves, you know. So ladies are good at cooking things which are not with the taste, and that's why they're quite good.
Hey, there you go. Let's see you, Balaji.
Right.
Very good.
Sometimes I feel guilty because I want to make something really sweet or whatever Krishna prefers, but then I feel with our aging and we feel, oh my God, we shouldn't be eating that rich food. So I deprive him of eating what he wants to. So I just do what I feel that we can offer. Krishna will accept it without any problem, and then we can cherish it as a prasad. So that's how I do it. And now.
Don't stop making the laddu. Just post it to us after it's offered.
I'm sure your wife is more better cook than I am. The other way around, tell her to post me some.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that.
Okay.
Nanibed, yes.
Yeah. What I do is whatever is food is there in the house. I mean, I obviously have stopped using onion.
Yeah.
As you said, being on my own, I have to do what is there in the house. Prepare it, give it to Krishna with love, and then eat it myself.
Okay.
So I don't have much of a choice in there. So what is there, I prepare, I give, I eat.
That sounds like definite zero.
I think I will score zero in that. I think so.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So objects of worship. Let's move on a little quicker. Ghosts, I'm sure nobody worships. Sachin Tendulkar and Amitabh Bachchan, they're old-fashioned stuff. Devatas, there may be some people still have some attachment there, but really Krishna, Rama, Vishnu, there should be the aim of our object of our worship. Sacrifice. Oh, there you go. Ignorance is where we do it faithlessly. In defiance of scriptures, so we'd offer meat with, like in Nepal or one of those countries, they kill like hundreds and millions of buffaloes at a certain time. It's a ridiculous thing they do. And then passion is where we do it for some benefit to go to heaven, at a yagya perhaps. And goodness is where we do it as a duty with no expectation of return, according to scriptures. But the best, of course, sacrifice is according to scriptural injunctions under the guidance of the spiritual master to please the Supreme Lord. So again, if we go back to maybe Aruna Ben's, we're not picking on you, Aruna Ben. Please don't think that. If we gave the hair, where would that fit in? I'm not sure if it fits into sacrifice.
I don't value my hair, and I just want to raise money for Macmillan Cancer. So basically, I have not for my.
Oh, wait a minute. Are you? Do you get sponsorship for this?
Yes, I will be.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
I'll be raising
Good.
money for.
And you're helping people. Yeah, no, that's good.
Yeah. So it'll be raising money for charity. Since we have 5 people in my family been through cancer, and this is a perfect time while we're in quarantine.
Yeah. I think that's okay. Yeah, I think that is probably a one, because you're actually giving some value.
Yeah,
You are giving some value. Is it to a proper person at the right place? That's for you to decide.
Yeah. Well, the reason I'll explain to you, when I was going through my bowel cancer, the Macmillan nurses, they would come to my house and cut my vegetables, empty my bin, put me to bed, carry me, and they looked after and helped me so much. And now they're so.
Okay, so you want to pay back as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and they have helped.
I understand.
So I don't know how else I can help them, and I thought this is perfect.
Yeah, nice. It's good. It's good. One way you could help, especially those who've helped you, if you are able to identify them and find them, of course, is to give them the gift of the Bhagavad Gita, for example, explaining that this is not a Hindu scripture. It's the words of very wise words, which give us direction in our life, because that's what the Bhagavad Gita is. It gives direction how to live in this world. And even if one doesn't believe in God, it doesn't matter. You still need direction how to live in this world. Other books are there as well. Many other books. Mahabharata. You know, that's a way, if you give something like that to knowledge to somebody in spiritual knowledge, that will be for their eternal benefit. Even if they read one page, like we were listening yesterday, one paragraph, one line, one word, that could save them from this birth and death.
Right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Priti?
Yeah, Hare Krishna. I do like this, going through each of the stuff and trying to understand it more. This is discussion on topics. It's really good. So my question was regarding sacrifice, goes somewhere with charity as well, but I think probably more sacrifice. Being a organ donor, I remember ages ago, it's been said you could end up giving that organ to somebody who's going to create more bad karma, let's say. But at the same time, I feel like what one does is their choice, you know? So if that person, whoever the goes to, like say a heart, at the end of the day, whatever they do with their heart or whatever they do with their life, it's on them, you know? I had it, it was a material matter to me, and I didn't need it as a dead body. So yeah, it went. Like what's that? Because when that came up, one question that kept going in my mind, well, again, it's your choice at the end of the day what you do. So whoever receives the blood, the heart, the whatever, it's their choice. They're creating the karma. We're just I'm not being proud of it or anything. I just know it's no use to me, you know.
See, I can hear what you're saying, and I've heard this many a time, where if you give somebody, if you save somebody's life and they go in and kill somebody, then you get a share of that karma. Well, as you said, I think it's a little remote. You can't control what that person will do. You're giving it with genuine desire to help. I think we probably need to do a little research into the scriptures and understand where this is actually coming from, because I think that the connection is too remote between the action and the ultimate action of somebody else. So I think it's something that needs a bit more work to be done on it. I'm not so convinced as I used to be that we would get the karma, because it's just too remote, as you said.
Mm.
And your desire is to help, ultimately.
Yeah, like what you said, we're not in control, like of what somebody else does. What's going to happen to it? I'm not going to give it away thinking, oh, you know what? I've been as this, like it's hopefully it will go into somebody. I pray to Krishna, it will go into somebody who spread more Krishna consciousness. I mean, again, it's I can only pray for it, but again, that's not my control. There was another thing. Oh yeah, there was this story you mentioned way before about somebody gives out prasad, and while they're about handing it somewhere, there's some poison that drops from an eagle carrying a snake, who's like poison drops in the food. Who's to blame for it? Is it the giver? Is it the snake? Is it the bird? And then it was eventually came around to whoever gossiped to say, oh, the giver gave poisonous food to so and so. The karma went on them. So that is like a slightly different situation, like who gets the karma for that. So again, I think obviously this organ giving is a different example in giving as well.
Anyway, if I come across something, we'll share it in the future.
Can I just mention that opens up a can of worms, isn't it? Like blood transfusions, if you're having operation, blood could be coming from anybody.
Exactly. Absolutely, Kamakshi. Let's keep this subject.
Sorry.
No, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Let's keep this subject open, and we'll come back to it one day where we got a little bit more information. Thank you for sharing that. Austerities, where it is self-torture. We fast for 10 days without water. There is a community of religionists who do that. Sure. That's torturing not just the body, but actually it says in the Bhagavad, you're torturing the Paramatma at the same time. Passion, austerities are where you want honor, respect, you want some result, like Hiranyakashipu, he did these great austerities for getting strength to beat up the demigods. So that's passion. Goodness, you do the austerities of following the 4 regulatory principles, austerity of doing Kadashi, austerity of speech, speaking truthfully, speaking according to the scriptures, mental austerities, trying to control the mind. That would be goodness. And pure goodness is you perform with faith and with desire to satisfy the Supreme Personality of God. So you're doing austerity, but the only purpose is to please the Supreme Lord. And I think the Kadashis fall into that category. We want to perform Kadashi and do more bhajans to please the Lord. 7. Oh my goodness, it's 5:05. Now, what do devotees think? Shall we carry on? Do you want to do this on your own, in your own time, or shall we just spend another session tomorrow going through the rest? Is there a preference?
I like the idea of going through each of that stuff, and if people have questions, then discuss. I like that idea, but let's take the majority here.
I too. Madhusudan, what do you think? Shall we go through this again, step by step again tomorrow?
Yeah, there's quite a few different areas, so going through it tomorrow would be fine. Yeah.
Okay. Any objections by anybody?
No.
Anybody can object. Kamakshi, you objecting?
No objection.
I'll go with the flow. I think it's a good idea to do it in details tomorrow, because then it give you the pacing.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, that was very interesting. I'd like to thank everybody for your participation, especially Madhusudan's sharing of that really sticking to my mind. So I really, really like that.
I'll quickly just mention about broccoli made in cream. So many devotees tried it, and they always came and said, I was never tasted as good. The secret was they use ajmo, but the way he made it the first time, never ever anybody's made it.
So that's the test now to satisfy the Lord. Make a broccoli cream sabji or whatever which Madhusudan has made.
Yeah, and I look back and thinking, maybe the lordships just wanted broccoli and cream, and I've never made it, and maybe they just inspired me to make that. And after that, I've never made it. I've never had the desire to make it, but just that was an experience. So sometimes, you know, you got to be kind of open in your heart and say, what shall we cook today? And Krishna might be inspiring you. You know, you might want kachori or laddus instead of.
No kachoris for you.
But certainly not burgers, hamburgers, or anything like that. That's just totally out, you know. But the interesting thing is from sacrifice and all that. But you will carry on tomorrow, because when these Muslims eat halal and this and that, you know, they think it's sacrifice. Anyway, there's not a lot of things, quite, you know, areas to cover. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And if there's any questions and comments, we can take those tomorrow right at the beginning. So if you do feel that, hey, I've had a thought about this and I'm not quite sure where this is coming from, please, we can start with that at the beginning of tomorrow's session. Thank you, dear devotees. It was a very, very nice session.
Thank you.
Thank you.